I'm Adrian, the Cruise and Travel Guy, and this video has been a long time in the making. I first recorded the footage in November 2020 and I've only just finished it right at the end of May. In part 1 of my guide to Sydney, I explored the harbour foreshore between the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Royal Botanic Gardens, including the Rocks, the Opera House and the Overseas Passenger Terminal. If you haven't watched it yet, I've included a link in the description below. In today's installment, I'll show you around the city centre along George Street. We'll jump on board Sydney's new light rail system and head down to the water's edge at Circular Quay, take a commuter ferry under the Harbour Bridge. Once back on dry land, we'll go for a long walk along the waterfront from Barangaroo all the way through to Darling Quarter and Chinatown, ending right back on George Street. Let's go! Kicking off today's tour, I'm starting out at Town Hall right in the middle of Sydney. There are plenty of transport options to and from Town Hall from all over the city and outer suburbs, including buses, trains and trams, and of course, it's such a central location that getting around on foot is a cinch. In Sydney, we have a smart ticketing system for public transport called Opal. You can pick up an Opal card from a wide range of retailers, including at Sydney Airport. The card is free, but you pay for the value of transport that you intend to use. You have to add value to your card when you first purchase it, and then you can top it up as needed online or in store. I've included a link to the Opal website in the description below. When I filmed this in November, the dramatic beauty of the jacaranda trees was on full display. These purple, floral clouds appear all over the city in the springtime and are a welcome sign that summer is on its way. Sydney's Town Hall was completed in 1889 and dominated the Sydney skyline before the city was eventually transformed by the skyscrapers you see today. Walking north in the direction of Sydney's famous harbour, we pass the Queen Victoria building, completed in 1898. In 2008, the QVB, as it's known locally, underwent a $48 million refurbishment, and it now houses a high-end retail and dining precinct, as well as connections to Town Hall subway station. In the past few years, George Street has been reimagined by Sydney City Council with a more pedestrian-forward usage plan, centred around the reintroduction of an above-ground tram line that extends well into Sydney's southeastern suburbs. At QVB Light Rail Station, I boarded the tram for a quick trip down to the harbour's edge at Circular Quay. The trams themselves are quite new, launching only at the end of 2019 and offer plenty of room to stand or sit. My trip took place during COVID times and during a weekday, which explains the particularly light passenger load. The trams arrive every 4 or so minutes, so there are no timetables to worry about. Just head to your nearest station and jump on the next arriving tram. Exiting the tram at Circular Quay, I made my way to the wharves and straight to number 5. Again, your Opal card will allow you to travel on ferries with ease. Ferry commuters are greeted with some of the most sought-after views of Sydney in the world. As a lifelong resident, I'm not pretending to hide my bias when I say that Sydney is truly one of the most beautiful cities on the planet. From the end of the ferry wharf, you can see across to the Overseas Passenger Terminal, which at this time of year would normally be playing host to a cruise ship. Today, a ferry trip will have to suffice. Sydney has many different types of ferries, from the large freshwater class that head across the open heads to Sydney's famous Manly Beach, to these smaller ferries used on Sydney's closed waterways and harbour. My ferry arrived shortly thereafter, and I jumped on board and went straight to the back for the very best views in the house. enjoy some views as we speed out of Circular Quay and across to the northern side of the harbour foreshore. As the ferry turns and heads west, I got to enjoy cruising under the Sydney Harbour Bridge, taking in the immense structure from this prized vantage point. The ferry stops briefly at Milson's Point, officially located in North Sydney, but only a stone's throw from the CBD. This is also where you'll find Luna Park. Sydney's Luna Park first opened in 1935 and has a bit of a checkered past, but today it offers everything from amusement rides to fine dining and is located next to North Sydney Olympic Pool, which has to be one of the best public pool locations in the world. Heading away from the pier, the ferry passes across the glistening Lavender Bay, showcasing its multi-million-dollar waterfront homes. Crossing now from north to south towards Darling Harbour, I took in the view of Sydney's Barangaroo district, which has recently undergone a massive redevelopment. The addition of Crown's high-end and somewhat controversial casino, luxury accommodation and well-known restaurants like Nobu bring an air of sophistication to the district with their new offerings. This striking building is now officially Sydney's tallest, standing at 271.3 metres and covering 75 floors. It's currently the fourth tallest building in Australia and was opened only in December 2020, a month after I filmed this. I should also note that it is possible to walk from Circular Quay all the way along the waterfront and through to Barangaroo and beyond. Once at Barangaroo Wharf, I made my way onto dry land for the long walk back to my starting point. This district is known for its bar and restaurant offering, with everything from high-end dining to more casual fare, and it's where you'll find a lot of Sydneysiders enjoying an after-work drink or dinner. It's also the perfect location for a long, lazy lunch, which is my personal preference. Barangaroo House is a modern expression of Australian architecture and offers its guests the choice of multiple bars and restaurants with lovely views from the rooftop bar. Walking in a southerly direction, the King Street Wharf district is next. Many of Sydney's sightseeing, lunch and dinner cruises depart from King Street Wharf. It's also well known for its waterfront dining scene and various accommodation options. There are plenty of restaurants with an array of cuisines on offer, and during non-COVID times this is a particularly busy spot, especially on weekends. Looking across the water to the inner city suburb of Pyrmont, you can see both the National Maritime Museum and behind it, Sydney's only other casino, The Star. The Star offers more high-end dining and luxury accommodation. Heading along the waterfront, we cross two of Sydney's popular attractions, Wildlife Sydney Zoo and Sea Life Sydney Aquarium. Both sites offer fun for the whole family at wildlife sea crocodiles, kangaroos and koalas, as well as smiling quokkas. At Sea Life you can enjoy close-up views of sharks, rays, exotic fish and dugongs. Walking past the Aquarium leads to Pyrmont Bridge, which until only a few years ago was a route for the now decommissioned monorail. The whole system was closed in 2013 and removed by 2014. Today, the pedestrian and cycle bridge connects the eastern and western sides of Darling Harbour. Head to the top for great views of the surrounding area. Cockle Bay is next up, and once again you can choose from a great range of dining and bar venues, and the area also plays host to evening entertainment with a few well-known nightclubs. In non-COVID times there were weekly firework displays right here, just to celebrate the arrival of the weekend. Can't complain about that. Darling Harbour is in the process of a major redevelopment and transformation, with new hotels, restaurants and public facilities. It's one of the main entertainment hubs in Sydney and the location of our convention centre, which plays host to major events and exhibitions, you know, when the borders are open. The new International Convention Centre is located on the right. Walking further, we head towards Darling Quarter and Tumbalong Park. Designed for leisurely picnics with family and friends, this kid-friendly district is popular with locals and visitors alike and makes a great place to rest and relax during a lengthy exploration of Sydney's city waterfront. A large playground is perfect to keep the kids busy, and access is free for all. Darling Quarter is one of the newer additions to the Darling Harbour scene, and as well as the aforementioned family-friendly attractions, there are a number of restaurants and bars for the more adult among us. Modern facilities are available for public use, and if you like it, why not have a game of ping pong? The wide open spaces are clean and well maintained, and Tumbalong Park is also the site of fairs and fetes throughout the year, offering food stalls and markets among other things. At other times, it's just the perfect spot for a lazy day in the sun. By now, we've almost reached the southern end of Sydney's CBD, which is also the starting point of Sydney's Chinatown district, and we'll do a quick walkthrough right now. You will find many Chinese restaurants, yum cha and dim sum houses, bubble tea shops and shopping arcades. At the very end of Dixon Street, off in the distance, is where you'll find Sydney's Paddy's Markets, offering a range of eclectic goods and souvenirs. Walking through one of the many shopping arcades, we'll head back to the centre of George Street. Passing more of Sydney's restaurants and bars, we eventually find ourselves back on the main thoroughfare. Located across the road is World Square, which is where my loop around Sydney ends. I stayed overnight at Meriton Suites World Square, and if you haven't watched the tour of my stay on level 75 in a 3-bedroom apartment, you can find the link to that video in the description below. Well, I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough of Sydney. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know, leave a like and a comment, and if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you can do that at The Cruise and Travel Guy. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.